Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thanks for coming to another of our weekly Torah study sessions. This actually is going to be the last of our weekly sessions because we are going to be finishing the book of Exodus. And when I started doing these, it was the beginning of the book of Leviticus. And so I've been doing these for a whole year. And obviously things are looking up the way versus what we thought that they might have been a year ago when everything sort of started and we learned the severity of the coronavirus. And so I'm going to stop doing these as often. I'm going to probably do them about once every 2 weeks. So I'll still see you, but not as often. I just want to get that out of the way. We'll begin with my kippot. I'm actually going to wear this Star Wars one because it's just one of my favorites. There it is. And we got our Tanakh. Like I said, we are finishing the book of Exodus today. It is a double portion. Whoopsies, that is. And what we're going to be reading is going to be from Moses finishing building the tabernacle, which we've heard about a lot, where God is going to dwell among the people when he's with the Jews. But, before we read, we have a blessing to say. Blessing over the reading of Torah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to engage with words of Torah. All right. We're at the end. I'm almost there. Here we go. All right. So, like I had said, Moses is building the tabernacle for the people. Then he put up the screen for the entrance of the tabernacle. At the entrance of the tabernacle of the tent of meeting, he placed the altar of burnt offering. On it he offered up the burnt offering and the meal offering, as the Lord had commanded Moses. He placed the laver between the tent of meeting and the altar, and put water in it for washing. From it Moses and Aaron and his sons would wash their hands and feet. They washed when they entered the tent of meeting and when they approached the altar, as the Lord had commanded Moses. And he set up the enclosure around the tabernacle and the altar, and put up the screen for the gate of the enclosure. When Moses had finished the work, the cloud covered the tent of meeting, and the presence of the Lord filled the tabernacle. Moses could not enter the tent of meeting because the cloud had settled upon it, and the presence of the Lord filled the tabernacle. When the cloud lifted from the tabernacle, the Israelites would set out on their various journeys, but if the cloud did not lift, they would not set out until such time as it did lift. For over the tabernacle a cloud of the Lord rested by day, and fire would appear in it by night, in the view of all the house of Israel throughout their journeys. So that's the end of the book of Exodus. I will show you the saying that we do after finishing a book of Torah. But right now I want to talk about, in the section it says that the presence of God, this cloud, comes down to the tabernacle. I gotta picture it like fog, or like you're in a plane looking out the window and you're in a cloud. But it also says that at night it's fire, because you can't really see a cloud at night, or at least not nearly as you can with fire. And God is leading the people of Israel. And if you're going to lead someone, you need to be seen. So being a cloud at night isn't terribly helpful. I think that we all understand that when we want to help someone, or when we want to solve a problem, we have to find the right tool. In this case, God's tool is a cloud during the day and fire at night, because each one will work better in that particular moment. And we all have the experience of having a lot of tools at our disposal, either physical or something more internal, and realizing the right tool for the right time. If your friend is really upset about something and you think that they probably did something to cause the problem themselves, when they're really upset, telling them that isn't going to be useful. It'll be useful overall. If someone is causing their own problems, someone needs to tell them. It's a very Jewish value to, it's called rebuking your friends, telling your friends harsh truths, saying, I don't know, hey Alex, you're dressed in all blue. That looks terrible. I don't know. But like, if it does, I'm never going to know unless someone tells me. And if someone I don't like tells me, I may not believe them. And I may say, no, you know what? I'm going to wear blue everything. I'm going to put on blue socks also and blue shoes. And if someone who is a friend of mine tells me, I'm more likely to take it seriously. If we want to change someone's mind, if we see a friend doing something, we need to speak up and tell them. We can't depend on other people, partly because it's our friend and we have a responsibility to help them, but also because if a stranger or someone you don't like tells you to do something, you're less likely to do it. But if a friend tells you, you're more likely. That's actually all kind of a segue. Not segue, tangent. We're going to segue back to the main topic of tools. Whatever task you're trying to complete, you need to make sure that you're using the right tool for it. Otherwise, you're not going to be as successful. There are innumerable examples for this, so I'm not even going to bother besides the one I just did. But yeah, I think especially now as the vaccines are coming out and as we start to go back to maybe being able to hang out with friends, especially as the weather's getting warmer, but even now the CDC says hanging out, if everyone in the group is vaccinated, they can hang out. They don't even need to have a mask on. Just be mindful of the tools that you have and when they're appropriate and when they're not. And if you're going on a bus with strangers, wear a mask. If you're going on a car with some friends who you all know are vaccinated, you probably don't need to use your mask. Whatever the case may be. So, and we finished a book of Torah. So we say, we're going to say, Chazak, Chazak, Vayakhel, and that means strength, strength, and may we have strength. Strength, strength may strengthen all of us. Strength, obviously, is like the obvious theme there. We want to be strong, especially now as we're leaving the winter behind. We want to remember that we're a strong people and we're all strong individuals and we have strong communities. And so, let's say it. 1, 2, 3. Chazak, Chazak, Vayakhel, Shabbat Shalom. Before we end, of course, we've got our Misha Barak for 2 minutes. If there's someone who you can think of who needs some healing, physical, mental, spiritual, you guys know what my list is by now. Now is a good time to think about them. If you can't think of anything, then try to wonder what sort of tools you have at your disposal and if there's a better way to use them than you've been using them in the past. Okay, everyone. Thanks for joining me for another Torah study together. I've always enjoyed having these. I will see you in next time we do this, probably within 2 weeks. Just check the YouTube. Until then, chazak, chazak, v'chnazeh. May you have strength. May we all be strengthened by our strength. And Shabbat Shalom.